The Shield of Cthulhu is quite possibly the most beloved accessory in Terraria. It seems like everywhere you go, everyone loves this thing. People swear by it, using an accessory slot on it until at least post-Plantera. It's so ubiquitous that it just becomes expected. If you're playing on expert mode, you put it on the moment you kill the eye and almost never take it off. That ubiquitousness is what makes it so difficult explaining to people that I can't stand it. I hate the Shield of Cthulhu. I would rather have no accessory than have this thing equipped. I never use it, have no desire to use it, and just see it as some bonus gold. But Sorbet, the Shield of Cthulhu, allows you to dodge by going horizontally quickly. It's a great way to avoid attacks, and it comes at a time when you don't have good accessories. Why wouldn't you equip it? There are multiple grievances I have with the shield, but the biggest one is this. Terraria's dash keybind sucks. It does. Double tapping a direction is an awful activation mechanism. Most games have dedicated dash buttons. Terraria doesn't, and you can't rebind it to something else. It's not like it's difficult to activate. The problem is it's too easy to activate. I can't stand accidentally dashing. Being locked into a movement that I did not want is infuriating, even more so if it's detrimental. When I move, I tap A and D all the time. They're quick little adjustments. Getting a little closer to hit enemies, getting a little out of range of an attack, getting to the right spot when building a platform. It's second nature, a bunch of tiny movements to let me do things smoothly. If I have the Shield of Cthulhu equipped, I will activate it and get sent somewhere I don't want to be. It's not that it happens during boss fights. When you're actively trying not to do it, you can avoid it. It's the moments when you aren't thinking about it that it happens, and I hate it with a passion. But that's not the only problem with the shield, just the one that I find most annoying. Even if Terraria was given a dedicated dash keybind, I still wouldn't use the shield. It simply isn't useful to me. There are three main selling points of the shield. It allows you to move horizontally quickly, it lets you bounce off enemies and get iframes, and it lets you reach full speed on mounts immediately. Well, there are plenty of ways to move horizontally. Personally, I'm quite fond of grappling hooks. By using a hook and jumping before you reach what you grappled, you'll give yourself a burst of speed. This has the advantage of being extremely controllable and omnidirectional. I don't need a dash because I don't struggle to get out of the way of attacks without it. It is more difficult to learn to dodge with grappling hooks, and it requires moving your cursor, which can interfere with aiming, but it also saves an accessory slot and is much more versatile. Double jumps are like vertical dashes, which I find much more useful than horizontal ones. I would rather have a blizzard in a bottle than a Shield of Cthulhu. The blizzard is much more controllable and versatile. That controllability and versatility is what's key here. The shield is not controllable. It's a predetermined dash with a set speed and distance. It's clunky, unwieldy, and just doesn't feel good to use for me. When it comes to bouncing off enemies, I just think this is pretty useless. There's never really going to be a time when I allow an enemy to get close enough to use it. I have good situational awareness. The shield can bonk off of Queen Bee and Duke Fishron, which is useful, but it's not like those bosses can't be dodged otherwise. Queen Bee gets too fast to bonk off of consistently as she gets near death, and Fishron is not difficult to dodge with good mobility. It's a solution for these bosses, but I already have one: being good at dodging. And as far as mounts, I just don't really use land-based mounts much, and when I do, I don't need the acceleration help. So the shield has a bad keybind, doesn't do anything I can't achieve without it, and takes an accessory slot. Accessory slots are valuable. There's so much stuff to play around with. That could be a Magiluminescence, which gives fantastic horizontal mobility that feels incredibly smooth. It could be a double jump, or an extra frog leg type accessory. The ascension bonus you get from them does stack as of 1.4.4. Extra emblems, a pygmy necklace, a star veil, a quiver, you have great options. None of this is to say that the Shield of Cthulhu can't be useful. Obviously, a ton of people use it and love it. If you like it, more power to you. But I don't. I don't need it, I don't want it, and I don't want to keep explaining that. Feel free to use it, but whenever you see me not using it, this is why.